Have you ever had this thought? Not once, not twice, but so many times that it starts to feel like the truth? That maybe you were never meant to win? Not because you didn't try, not because you didn't work, but because somehow everything you build eventually falls apart. You try again, you push, you sacrifice, you give everything you have. And for a moment it works. For a moment things move. For a moment you feel like you're finally getting somewhere. And then it collapses again. And after a while, it stops feeling like bad luck. It starts feeling like a pattern, a cycle. You start, it works, it breaks. You start again, it works, it breaks. Or worse, you start, and nothing works at all. And that's when the question hits you. Not softly, not casually, but heavy. What if I'm the problem? What if this is who I am? What if I was never meant to make it? And once that question enters your mind, it doesn't leave. It stays there, quiet, but constant. And the worst part is, you don't say it out loud, because it sounds crazy, it sounds weak, it sounds like something you're not supposed to think, but you feel it. And maybe right now, you're in that exact place, where nothing seems to move, where everything feels stuck, where every door looks closed. And no matter how hard you try to stay focused, that question keeps coming back. Why does everything go wrong for me? If you've ever felt that, stay with me, because this is not a motivational speech. This is not a success story. This is something much more real. And if you want clarity, if you want to understand this process while I'm living it, subscribe to the channel. We're going through this together. I've asked myself this question more times than I can count. After every attempt, after every failure, after every time something worked and then disappeared, I've had results. Real results, money, opportunities, moments where everything seemed aligned. And still, it never stayed. It always went away. And that's what breaks you. Not failing, but succeeding. And then losing it. Because when you fail, you can blame the start. But when you win, and then lose everything, you start questioning yourself. You start thinking, maybe I don't know how to keep anything. Maybe I ruin everything I touch. Maybe I'm not built for this. And that thought slowly becomes part of your identity. Not because it's true, but because it keeps happening. And your mind doesn't care about truth. It cares about patterns. And if the pattern repeats long enough, your mind accepts it as reality. That's when things get dangerous, because now you're not just fighting circumstances. You're fighting your own belief system. And that's a fight most people lose right now. I'm in one of those phases. Trying, working, pushing, and still. Everything feels blocked. Opportunities don't come. Money doesn't flow. Problems show up faster than solutions. And the pressure builds. Bills, responsibilities, people depending on you. And you look around, and it feels like everyone else is moving forward, everyone else is winning, everyone else is building, everyone else is living the life you thought you'd have by now. And then comes the comparison, the silent one. You don't talk about it, but you feel it. Why them, and not me? What am I doing wrong? Why does it look so easy for everyone else? And that's when your mind starts creating answers. Not real answers, but emotional ones. Maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I missed my chance. Or the worst one, maybe I was never meant to succeed. And if you let that thought grow, it starts controlling everything. Your actions, your energy, your decisions. Because deep down, you stop expecting things to work. And when you stop expecting, you stop executing at your full level. And then things actually don't work. And the cycle confirms itself. This is how people get trapped. Not by reality, but by interpretation, because the truth is you're not programmed to fail. But your mind can convince you that you are. And once it does, everything starts aligning with that belief. I've felt this more times than I want to admit. Waking up tired, even after sleeping, trying to think, but your mind feels heavy. Looking at problems, and not having the energy to solve them. Feeling like every day is the same, like time is passing but nothing is changing, like you're stuck in a loop. And that feeling is one of the worst things you can experience, because it's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's quiet and constant. It drains you slowly. And if you don't fight it, it takes control. And the hardest part is that nobody sees it. from the outside. You look normal, you talk normal, you function. But inside, everything feels heavy, and you carry that weight alone. Because how do you explain something that doesn't have a clear form? How do you tell someone, I feel stuck, but I don't know why? Most people won't understand. So you keep it inside, and it grows, until even small things feel difficult. Simple decisions feel exhausting. And even when you try to rest, your mind doesn't stop. It keeps replaying everything. Every mistake, every loss, every missed opportunity. And it builds a story. A story that says, this is who you are, and if you're not careful, you start believing it. But here's what I started to understand. This is not destiny. This is not God deciding that you should fail. This is not a permanent condition. This is a mental state, a very convincing one, a very powerful one, but still a state. And states can be changed. Not instantly, not easily, but they can. And the first step is recognizing that this voice is not truth. It's repetition. It's your mind trying to make sense of patterns, but patterns can lie. Because they only show you what already happened, not what is possible. And if you base your identity only on past patterns, you limit your future before it even begins. That's why this fight matters, because you're not just trying to fix your life. You're trying to protect your identity. And if you lose that, everything else follows. I've realized something else too. You don't break in one moment, you break slowly. Day after day. Little frustrations, little failures, little doubts, stacking. Until one day, you don't recognize yourself anymore. And that's why most people don't notice it happening. Because it's not loud. It's quiet. But now that you see it, you can fight it. And no, this doesn't mean everything suddenly changes. It doesn't mean problems disappear. It doesn't mean tomorrow becomes easy. But it means one thing: you stop accepting the lie. You stop identifying with failure. You stop saying, this is who I am. And you start saying, this is just where I am. And that changes everything. Because where you are is temporary. Who you are is something you build right now. I'm still in the middle of this, still dealing with pressure, still dealing with uncertainty, still dealing with days where nothing seems to move. But I'm not accepting that this defines me. And neither should you, because if you keep going, even when it doesn't make sense, you break the pattern. Not in one day, but over time, and that's enough. So if you feel like everything keeps going wrong, if you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like nothing works, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not finished. This is not the end of your story. This is just a phase, a hard one, a confusing one, a heavy one, but still a phase. So don't let a phase define your identity. Don't let repetition define your future. And don't let your mind convince you of something that isn't true. Because you were not created to fail. You're just being tested in ways that don't make sense yet. And maybe one day this will all make sense. But even if it doesn't, you keep going anyway, because stopping is the only way this becomes permanent. And we're not letting that happen, not this time. If you're still here, it means something. It means you didn't quit, and that matters more than you think. So if this resonates with you, if you feel this, if you're living this, subscribe to the channel. We're not talking about theory here. We're living this in real time, and we're going to get through this together.